Hello everyone, how are you doing? It's Ciarain here from LeapFrog Fight Night 1 live at venue 360 in Luton. Beside me we have UK number 1 Liam Patel and Luke the Lion Thompson. Let's go. I had the biggest tongue twister there. I'm terribly sorry, but guys, let me just introduce the main card here. We have just had a superb preliminary and undercard just before the main card. Now we are going to start with our first fight, Kenny Carey versus Rio Johnson. Guys, Rio Johnson coming from some spectacular knockouts, big heavy hitter with his hands. Now, Kenny Carey has jumped in last minute from Mazda Gym. I think fair play to the man, but also another great scrapper. How do you think the fight's going to play out?
Rio, obviously, like you said, knockout artist, and then Kenny Carey, Mazda Gym been going from strength to strength, producing some really top fighters. You've got Owen Gillis, you've got Alfie Pontin, all these guys coming up.
Alfie Pontin being a recent WBC World Champion now.
Yeah, very, very good. So I think that's going to shape up to be a really good fight.
And then moving on to that, then we've got Rita versus Morgan Bennett. Rita coming over from Ireland by way of Lithuania, I think, or Latvia. But she only fought 2 weeks ago, lads. She fights very.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's the beautiful thing about it as well, right? Staying active, always healthy, not having to cut a lot of weight. You get to present the opportunities and then you can just take them by the hand. So that's going to be brilliant. But obviously, as you know, Ciarain, we obviously train with Morgan Bennett as well. Absolute savage, you know what I mean? Gives 110% all the time, as all the guys do at the gym as well. So if anything, that just adds more to it, right? Someone that's coming off a two-week fight, fit and healthy, Morgan putting in all the work, there's only destined to be fireworks, in my opinion.
And I think that's a massive part of Muay Thai, where it's not in any other martial art. It's how often you can fight, especially at A class. I mean, you'll have guys fighting that with shin pads, or maybe even in boxing, having regular amateur fights. But you know yourself, guys, fighting A class, full Thai rules on a regular basis does take a battering on your body. So your recovery has to be perfect.
Yeah, and I feel like with Rita and Morgan, obviously Rita, she's had a lot more fights than Morgan. She's got the experience on her side, but Morgan's got the youth, and I think she's been going from strength to strength. I feel like she's at a weight class now which suits her better, and I feel like she's really going to come into her own in this fight.
Yes, and training with her, as you said, Luke, as well, we've been seeing that graph, and obviously seeing Rita, it's going to come 10 times harder. Also, touching on this, so for you guys viewing at home, Morgan and then the next fight, Holly Bonus, are actually going to be doing something called the Y Karoo, or the Ram Wide. Guys, Liam, could you fill us in a little bit on the tradition of the Y Karoo and what it is and why they do it before fights?
So the Y Karoo is something that's done. It's like a traditional dance that's done to seal the ring, pay respect to your opponent, pay respect to your coaches, and it's very beautiful.
Yeah, exactly like you said there, Liam, as well. And obviously it's within that range of like all the Thai gods and showing the respect and the tradition of the sport. I don't know too much about it, as it were, but we can acknowledge and take in beauty when you see it. And it is definitely a masterpiece and a piece of art, and I think having that tradition, it takes away the animosity, Muay Thai is not like boxing, MMA, where it's all hostile, personal. It's a thing of like, we've all got goals and dreams. We give our best, respect from the beginning all the way to the end, and then you see what happens. So it's definitely a beautiful thing.
And that's the thing, Muay Thai dates back to nearly 3,000 years. Obviously, Muay Baran being the king of it really at the start, where Muay Baran was actually done with rope, and they fought in rope, and now it's more done as like a dance, but you can actually find it on shows like Thai Fight in Thailand. They still actually fight Muay Baran. Big names such as Sanchai, all them names are still fighting Muay Baran. The man fella, he's in his 40s, still fighting Muay Baran. But touched on that, so I did say Holly Bonus versus Sonia Din. Now, Sonia Din has actually fought at one championship and fought, I cannot remember her name, but fought a very famous Thai lady on it and had a very tough fight on it. So be expecting a very good fight, especially with Holly Bonus. Tall, lengthy, very rangy with the technical shots,
I think it's another fight that's experienced. It's experience versus technical ability and youth. And I think just like the previous fight, Rita and Morgan, I think it's going to be fantastic.
Of course. And like seeing them at the weigh-in, I think the weigh-in tells a lot about the fights that's going to happen. Seeing them ready at their most depleted. Do you know what I mean? And seeing the girls there yesterday, they were absolutely focused, lasered on. Morgan had a little bit of weight to cut. She had 0.1 over on the scales, but managed to get that off very easily within about an hour. And seeing her today, she's filling out, she's ready. Same as Rita. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Big one that I've been speaking about tonight is Junior Coleman versus Lewis Pugh. Lads, what are we thinking?
Well, Junior brings fireworks to every fight. He's become a bit of a fan favourite, I think.
Very much.
Fighting on a variety of different shows, and he always brings a scrap, brings a war, right? So I think the crowd will definitely be entertained.
100%. And like with Junior, like he comes in and he's at the weigh-in yesterday. He had his young lad running around, you know, and like I love that connection that Muay Thai brings. We actually touched on it when we're sat here watching the fights. Now, me and Liam got really friendly tonight, but go back a few months, Liam actually fought a teammate of mine called Jacob Thompson. Phenomenal fighter. You both had a phenomenal fight. And it's so funny that we went from being in opposite corners to now being in the same booth, watching fights and filling you guys in on the spectacularness that's going to happen.
And that's one of the best things about Muay Thai, right? I feel like it brings everyone together. And it's, for me anyway, it's never anything personal. It's always, it's all love, really, you know, and it's just elevating the sport of Muay Thai to where, you know, it can go.
And I think for anyone that's new to Muay Thai, like the one thing about Muay Thai that separates it from all other ones is its traditions. If you go to Thailand, it's a very respectful country with a lot of religious traditions, and Muay Thai is a very religious sport. Hence why you see fighters walk out with the monk call on their head. Often or not, people will go, what's that headband on their head? What's this? But a lot of monk calls are like wrapped in scriptures as well that are wrote by monks. Am I correct? I've seen it with some fighters that they get it embroidered and stuff like that. And you think, wow, like this goes back years. And we're here in Luton, in Venue 360, putting on a show. And this tradition is carrying on. And now spreading to new people, but watching through the camera and obviously in the crowd.
Definitely, yeah. Like I said, Ciarain, I think the fact that the sport started in Thailand and those traditions have gone worldwide and continue to go more worldwide as time goes on, that just shows the progression and growth, do you know what I mean? And then, yeah, LeapFrog Fight TV, bringing these 50-50 matches, educating you on the sport. Some are 3 rounds, some are 5 rounds. That's the uniqueness, you know, going from the undercard to the prelims. And it's good as well, because those fighters that fight in class and what have you, it's a big thing to them. Fight's a fight, regardless of it. So then when they've had their fight, then they can see the next level up, have their drinks, spend time with their families, and they can be like, right, that's where I want to gradually set myself to. Once again, that's the thing of beauty and Muay Thai, just how it's going to continue to elevate.
Of course, and I think like Muay Thai generating more financial gain now for fighters, not only just on this side of the water, but obviously in Thailand. You know, now we have Thai fighters that are earning big bucks in fights, rather than just earning a couple of £100 and then maybe not even seeing most of that, because a lot of it has to go obviously to their gym,
trainer,
whatever. Like, and I think now seeing like we've got all Thai officials here, and for them, I often think like how much they've seen the sport grow over their lifetime. They're in their 40s, 50s. We spoke about Parampet earlier, who's a Thai coach who trains Dan McGowan, who's involved in McGowan.
it's like he's getting younger every time I see him.
Oh my God, shout out to Parampet.
Yeah, shout out to Patel.
12 kilos down, absolute legend. So moving on, we've then got Finn Cook versus Brandon Chillen, which is for the ISKA British title. So this is a very interesting fight because Brandon Chillen is a technician at most. He moves well, he fights slick, and he operates like a smooth operator. Finn Cook, on the other hand, comes very heavy forward, coming to hit, coming to make that fight stronger. And on the media day, when I held for both of these gentlemen, I was like, wow, I can really see how this fight can play in both of their favors. You know, because at the start, I was more, right, Brandon, I think Brandon's going to outclass him. But again, all it takes is one shot for it to change the fight.
Yeah, I think with this fight, I think it's matched so well, and I think it's whoever adapts better. Yeah. Whoever adapts better, because both boys have a variety of different tools. Both boys can counter. Brandon can also go forward. I've seen him fight. He's been fighting for a long time. You know what I mean? And obviously, Finn Cook, I've fought him. Good counter fighter.
He stopped him with a knee, wasn't it?
Stopped him. It's good to see him fight actually at a weight class that is better suited to him.
Yeah.
Because when I fought him, I didn't even realise till today he was walking around at the weight I fought him at. So now he's fighting at 55. I think it's a much better weight class for him. And I think we'll really get to see him shine a bit more.
Well, then moving on to our last 2 fights. So sorry to rush it. We've just been aware that our main card is nearly about to start. But next up, we have our co-main and main event. Now, David Sinclair versus Liam Cunningham. Obviously, a bit of controversy at the weigh-ins yesterday. David Sinclair coming in at a big 1.6 kilos over the weight allowance. However, this doesn't change anything from what's going to happen inside the ring. But what does change is if Liam Cunningham wins, he keeps the belt. If David Sinclair wins, David does not keep the belt. So that is how that fight is going to go, no matter who wins the fight. I'm going to ask you guys straight up, who have you got to win this fight?
Personally, I have Liam winning the fight. I think if David struggled with his weight cut and he struggled to make weight, there's no saying how he's going to feel on the day. Liam's just been going from strength to strength. He just looks sharp and he can do everything, you know. And it's not taking anything away from David. Like, I've seen David; he's a wicked fighter. But I just think 60-40 to Liam in this case.
Yeah, do you know what? I know a little bit about Liam Cunningham, not so much about his opponent, David. But this one, I believe now, will be a mental battle, you know, because Liam Cunningham's made weight and he's like, well, I've handled everything professional and stuff. David, for whatever reasons, because we don't know, so you don't throw shade at a fighter, but is that going to be in his head now being like, oh, well, how bad do I want it now? Because that belt's not on the line. I came over. You know, there's all these different things that play into it. Is Liam going to be frustrated because he's thinking, well, mate, I've had to go through that same rule. So it's going to be interesting to see mentally who can be a bit more screwed on and just keep to their own fight, you know, not to make it as personal. Because I think now, sometimes when those things happen, we're all fighters. When you're depleted, it feels disrespectful, right? So sometimes it can go a bit personal. So just have to make sure they manage their nerves, confidence, listen to the corners. Sweet.
And obviously, both boys such a high level, right? They're fighting A class. They fight UK level is one of the best sides, like France and obviously Thailand. It's one of the highest levels in the world of Muay Thai, you know. So regardless of weight, regardless of any of that, whoever adapts better, it's a 5-round fight. You know what I mean?
Well, look. We have got a stacked main card, the main event, Tyler Hogan versus Corey Chettle. I must hand it over to our ring announcer, Tom Barkham, to start our main card.